The champagne glass in my hand felt heavier than it should have. My legs ached under the weight of my body, though most people would say I wasn't really standing at all. I stayed seated near the front, invisible, until Claire's voice cut through. "The hall. We don't need another ceremony," she announced, her lips curving into that sharp smile. "Daniel and I are already married." The hall fell silent. "What?" Edward's voice cracked like glass. He laughed, trying to brush it off. "That's impossible. You'd never—" Claire cut him off. "Do you think I need your approval?" Murmurs rippled across the guests. "Already married? When? Why?" With him. I heard every word, every doubt. I tightened my grip on the glass, refusing to let my hand tremble. Edward turned to me, eyes gleaming. "So it's true? You, her crippled fiancé, got her before I did?" I forced a smile. Strange, isn't it? My voice was calm, but inside I was burning. Claire brushed past me, her hand grazing my chair only long enough to steady herself, before pulling away. "This isn't about him," she said coldly. "This is about the company, about image. That's all anyone here needs to know." I whispered, too low for anyone but her. "So, I'm just your shield." She didn't look at me. "Play your role, Daniel." Laughter broke from a table nearby. One board member leaned toward another and muttered, not quietly enough, "Prop husband." The words cut deeper than any knife. Edward smirked and raised his glass. "To the happy couple, then. May your lies be as strong as your vows." "Careful," I said, staring straight into his eyes. "Some lies don't stay hidden for long." He leaned closer, his breath hot with arrogance. "And some props forget their place." My hand itched to smash the glass against his smirk, but I held still. Silence was my weapon tonight. Claire lifted her glass as if none of it mattered. "To the future," she said. Her eyes, though, didn't meet mine. "To the future," Edward echoed, mocking. The guests followed, unsure whether to laugh or pity me. I heard scattered whispers. "Why him? Poor man, he doesn't even walk properly." "She's desperate." My stomach twisted, but I smiled. If this was humiliation, I would wear it like armor. When the toasts ended, Edward cornered me. Near the balcony, the city lights behind him glowed like fire. "Tell me, Daniel," he sneered. "Does it sting, knowing you were only dragged here to stop me?" I stared at him. "You talk too much for a man with secrets." He blinked, then laughed. "Secrets? Please, the only secret here is why she chose you." He leaned close. "A cripple groom. Pathetic." I kept my voice even. "Maybe. But tonight, you lost." He gritted his teeth, the smile faltering for the first time. Claire's heels clicked behind us. "Edward," she said sharply. "Stop embarrassing yourself." He bowed mockingly. "Of course, Mrs. Daniels. Or should I say, Mrs. Prop?" Her hand tightened on the balcony rail. She didn't defend me. Not once. When he finally walked away, I asked quietly, "Is this what I am to you?" She exhaled, her tone icy. "You are what I need. Nothing more." I almost laughed. "Then, congratulations. You've made me the perfect husband, silent, invisible, disposable." Her eyes flickered, just for a second, with something, hesitation, guilt, maybe. But it vanished. "Don't overthink this, Daniel," she said, and walked back inside. I stood there alone, the night air cold against my skin. Their voices still echoed in my head. Prop husband. Cripple. Pathetic. I tightened my fist until my nails dug into my palm. They thought I was broken. They thought I was weak. But tonight, as the laughter and music swallowed my silence, I made myself a promise. If I was a prop in their story, then I would be the one to decide when the play ended. The whispers didn't die after that night, but morning. They had spread like fire. Every call, every headline, Every whisper carried the same sting. Claire's cripple husband, the prop. Behind closed doors, Claire faced me with arms crossed. You'll play along until this calms down. I stared at her. Play along? Yes, she snapped. The board needs stability. The media needs a story. She gestured at me with disdain. You give me that. So sit quietly and keep your mask on. I forced a laugh. So I'm nothing but a seat filler in your empire. Her eyes were cold. Don't act like you're more. I leaned forward. I once thought I was. For the first time, she hesitated. But it passed, and she left the room without another word. When the door closed, Edward appeared like a shadow, smirking. Rough morning? I kept my tone flat. You enjoy eavesdropping? Not eavesdropping, he said, leaning against the wall. Just savoring the sound of your humiliation. You must have a lot of free time, he laughed. More than you, apparently. You sit here, playing husband while the world laughs. Doesn't it burn you inside? I didn't answer. Silence was safer. He crouched, staring into my eyes. You're pathetic. A cripple clinging to a woman who never loved you. I whispered. You sound jealous. His smile faltered. Jealous? Of you? Yes, I said evenly. Because despite your schemes, she still stood beside me that night. Not you. His jaw tightened. She'll throw you away when she's done. And when she does, I'll be the one she runs to. I tilted my head. Then wait. Let's see whose turn comes first. He shoved off the wall and stormed out, but I could still hear his muttered curse. Alone, I let my mask slip. My chest ached, not from his words, but from the truth behind them. Once, I had loved Claire. I had believed in her brilliance, her ambition, her fire. Now I saw only cruelty sharpened into armor. I whispered to myself, silence is stronger than anger. Let them underestimate me. Later that day, Victor, the quiet IT worker, passed me in the corridor. He rarely spoke, but this time he stopped. Mr. Daniels, he said softly. I raised a brow. Yes? His eyes flicked around nervously. Don't let them crush you. It was barely a whisper, but it hit harder than all of Edward's taunts. I studied him. Why say that to me? He shrugged, almost trembling. Because I've seen things, and I think you're not as weak as they think. Before I could reply, he hurried away, leaving me with a strange spark in my chest. That night, Claire entered my study. She stood in silence, her arms wrapped tightly around herself. What do you want? I asked. She looked at me, her face unreadable. Only that you keep quiet. About what? About everything, she said. Her voice was low, almost tired. Don't speak to the press. Don't argue with Edward. Just play your role. I held her gaze. And if I refuse? Her lips curled into a bitter smile. Then you'll destroy us both. The room felt colder. Claire, I said quietly, do you even hear yourself? You talk like I'm a stranger. Her eyes glimmered, but she turned away. Maybe you. The words struck deeper than Edward's taunts. When she left, I sat alone in the dim light, my fists clenched. I thought of Edward's arrogance, Claire's coldness, the whispers of the world. Rage burned inside me, but I buried it under layers of silence. I whispered into the emptiness. They think I'm a prop. Let them. The quieter I am, the louder my revenge will be. And for the first time, the thought didn't taste bitter. It tasted sharp, like the edge of a blade waiting to be drawn. The boardroom buzzed with tension. I sat silently at the edge, invisible, though my presence was a thorn to some. Claire's voice was sharp. The numbers are under control. The rumors mean nothing. Edward smirked. Really? Because the press thinks otherwise. And the board wants proof. A member coughed. Ms. Reynolds, can you explain the discrepancies in last quarter's reports? Claire's jaw tightened. Temporary miscalculations, already corrected. Edward leaned forward. Or maybe deliberate manipulation. We wouldn't want the shareholders misled, would we? I clenched my fists under the table. His words were venom wrapped in civility. Enough, Claire snapped. This discussion is over, but whispers spread around the table, and I could feel the judgment in every glance. Later, in the corridor, I overheard them. Edward hissed. You're slipping, Claire. I could expose you right now. Her voice wavered, though still icy. You wouldn't dare. Oh, I would, he whispered, unless you start listening to me. Your little marriage trick won't save you. Silence. Then Claire's footsteps retreated, sharp and uneven. I stepped out, blocking Edward's path. Enjoyed that performance? He smirked. Eavesdropping again, cripple. I didn't flinch. One day your tongue will cut your own throat. Until then, he said, brushing past me, I'll keep cutting hers. My chest tightened. I had wanted to hate Claire freely, to see her as nothing but cruel, but hearing her tremble, even for a moment, cracked something in me. That night, she entered my room. You were listening, she said coldly. Yes. And? I met her gaze. He's circling like a vulture. Why do you let him? Her lips trembled before hardening again. It's none of your concern. It should be, I whispered. Because if he takes you down, he'll drag me with you. She didn't answer. Instead, she turned, her shoulders shaking for the briefest moment. I lay awake, long after she left, her silence louder than any words. Victor's voice was barely audible. I've traced something. I leaned closer. What is it? He tapped, his laptop. Edward has accounts offshore, money moving out of the company. My breath caught. So it's him. Victor nodded. If you gather more evidence, you can destroy him. Quietly. Quietly is what I do best. That evening, I crossed paths with Edward in the lounge. You look restless, I said. He smirked. Why wouldn't I? Watching you limp around this house is entertainment enough. Strange, I replied, calm. For someone who claims victory, you waste a lot of time mocking me. He leaned, close. Because you remind me what weakness looks like. And you, I said softly, remind me what fear smells like. For a flicker, his eyes narrowed, but then he laughed. Careful, prop. Words won't fix broken legs. No, I said, my mask steady. But they'll bury you one day. He froze, then sneered. Try me. Later, I sat in my study, staring at the files Victor had sent. Every transfer, every whisper of betrayal pointed to Edward. My rage burned, but so did something else. A hollow ache when I thought of Claire. I whispered to the empty room. Do I destroy you with him or save you from him? The answer didn't come. Only silence. The news hit like a bomb. Scandal in Reynolds Corp, shady dealings exposed. I found Claire in her office, pale, trembling. You knew this was coming, I said. Don't, she whispered. Edward struck, didn't he? Her eyes filled with panic. He leaked everything. The board is tearing me apart. And you expected what? My voice shook. That your cold mask would protect you forever. She slammed her hands on the desk. Don't lecture me. You think this is easy. You think I wanted... She stopped, her voice cracking. I stepped closer. Then say it. Say you're drowning. Her eyes brimmed. For the first time, her walls cracked. I am, she whispered. I'm drowning, Daniel. The sound pierced me deeper than all her cruelty. Late that night, she came into my room. Her voice trembled. Help me, please. I stared at her. Why should I? Because... She broke down, tears spilling. Because I don't want to be alone. I clenched my fists, torn between rage and pity. Claire, I said quietly, you've broken me in every way, and now you beg me to save you. Her hands shook. Yes, I'll beg, if that's what it takes. Her words shattered me. I turned away, whispering, "You fear abandonment, but you abandoned me first." She sobbed quietly, and I sat frozen, my heart caught in a storm of anger and love I couldn't control. Claire placed a cup on my desk. "Coffee," she muttered. I raised a brow. "Since when do you bring me coffee?" "Don't make it sound like charity," she said sharply, though her tone lacked its usual bite. I sipped slowly. Strange. It almost tastes like an apology. Her eyes flickered. "Don't push it." Victor entered quietly. "I've got more files. Edward's arrogance is growing. He thinks no one's watching." Claire stiffened. "What files?" Victor glanced at me. I nodded. "Evidence. Enough to crush him." Claire's lips parted, then closed. "And you've been working behind my back." "You were too busy destroying yourself," I replied calmly. Her eyes flashed. "You think you're better than me?" "No," I said. "Just smarter about silence." She turned away, shoulders tense, then placed a small box on my desk. "He used this. A key. Something in the storage wing. Maybe it matters." I studied her. "Why tell me now?" "Because," she whispered, "I can't do this alone anymore." For once, the mask slipped. Her voice cracked, her hands trembled. Edward stormed in without knocking. "What's this?" "A strategy meeting with the cripple and his pet IT boy." Victor stiffened, but I spoke first. "Careful, Edward. Even snakes choke on their venom." He smirked. "Keep dreaming. Soon, Claire won't. Need either of you." "Funny," I said softly. "She already doesn't need you." His smirk faltered for a second. Then he left, slamming the door. Claire sat heavily, whispering, "I don't trust you. But I trust you more than him." It wasn't affection. It was survival, and I accepted it, for now. The boardroom was suffocating. Papers slammed on the table. Voices rose like a storm. "Ms. Reynolds," one member barked, "this evidence suggests fraud." Claire's voice cracked. "It's not fraud." Edward cut in smoothly. "She's lying." I warned her, but she wouldn't listen. I sat in silence, watching Claire's empire collapse piece by piece. Another voice. "The company is finished under her leadership." Claire staggered back, pale. I'd never seen her so fragile. I rose slowly. "You're quick to bury her, Edward. Convenient, considering the money in your hidden accounts." Gasps rippled. Edward's face twitched. "You have no proof." "Proof?" I slid a folder across the table. "Every transfer, every password traced. Courtesy of Victor." The board members flipped pages, eyes widening. Edward's mask shattered. "This is fabricated! He's a cripple with nothing to lose!" I leaned forward. "Exactly. Nothing to lose, and everything to expose." Claire whispered, trembling. "Daniel!" Edward lunged toward me, but guards held him back. "You'll regret this." I stood firm. "No, you will." The board erupted, shouting, accusations. Edward dragged out in disgrace. Claire collapsed into a chair, burying her face in her hands. For the first time, she broke completely. "Daniel." Her voice cracked. "I've lost everything. My father disowned me. The company is ashes. And it's my fault." Her tears fell freely, shattering the image of the untouchable queen. I whispered, "You're not as heartless as you pretend." She looked up, eyes red. "I was cruel to you. I thought strength meant freezing everything out. But now, I have nothing left." "Not nothing," I said quietly. "Just nothing you can control anymore." She reached for me, voice shaking. "Why are you still here?" "Because I needed to see this," I replied. "The queen broken, the mask gone." Her tears streamed. "Daniel, I don't deserve your pity." "It isn't pity," I said. "It's clarity. You're not invincible, and I'm not invisible." The silence between us was heavy, raw, and for the first time, honest. The boardroom was silent when I wheeled myself forward. My hands gripped the table. Edward sneered. The cripple thinks he's in charge now. I smiled faintly. Not in charge, just holding the truth. He laughed bitterly. You're nothing. A prop. You always were, Claire whispered. Daniel. But her voice was weak. I placed the small box, the key Claire had given me, on the table. Do you recognize this, Edward? His smirk flickered. Just a piece of metal. Not just metal, I said. It unlocks the storage room where you hid the ledgers. Every transaction, every bribe. Victor mirrored them before you could. Destroy the files, the board members murmured. One asked, Is this true? Edward slammed his fist. Lies! He forged everything. Victor stepped forward quietly. Then explain why the key matches your security tag. The room tilted. In my favor, I felt power settle into my hands for the first time. Edward lunged, shouting, You'll pay for this! His fist swung toward me, but guards restrained him. I didn't flinch. You're finished. The chairman stood. Edward, you are hereby suspended pending criminal investigation. Edward struggled, spitting venom. You think you've won, Daniel? She used you, and she'll throw you away again. I held his gaze. Maybe. But tonight, it's you burning, not me. They dragged him out, his curses echoing down the hall. Claire trembled beside me. You saved me, even after everything I did to you. I breathed slowly. I didn't save you. I exposed him. Saving you was a side effect. Her eyes shone, with tears. You could have walked away. Why didn't you? I whispered. Because I wanted to see the fire consume him. And I wanted you to know I wasn't your prop anymore. The board filed out, whispering, leaving just Claire, Victor, and me. Victor clapped my shoulder gently. It's done. He's finished. I nodded. Thank you, Victor. Without you, this wouldn't have worked. Claire's voice broke. Daniel, what do you want from me now? I looked at her, exhausted, hollow. Nothing. Victory feels empty when the war destroys everything else. She reached out, but I pulled back. Don't. Not yet. The ashes were still hot. I wasn't ready to decide if I would stand by her or walk away forever. The office was quiet, stripped of its old grandeur. Claire stood by the window, shoulders slumped. I've started rebuilding, she said softly, step by step. The board still hates me, but at least the company isn't dead. I leaned against my chair. That's your specialty, surviving. She turned, eyes softer than I had ever seen. Daniel, I was cruel. I treated you like a shield, not a man. But when everything fell apart, you were the only one who stayed. I swallowed. I stayed to finish what I started, not because I forgave you. Her lips trembled. Can't you stay now? Not as a prop, as yourself. I looked at her, really looked. For the first time, there was no mask, no coldness, just a broken woman trying to hold on to me. Part of me ached. I remembered the nights I once dreamed of this warmth, but another part remembered the whispers, the humiliation, the pain. I can't, I said quietly. Her eyes filled. Why not? I've changed. I'll try harder. I cut her off, because I know myself now, and I know what I deserve. Tears spilled down her cheeks. Daniel, don't leave me, not when I finally see you. I stood, my voice steady. That's the problem. You only see me now, when it's too late. Silence wrapped the room. Her sobs were soft, almost childlike. I walked to the door, but paused. Claire, I don't hate you anymore, but I can't love you either, she whispered, broken. Then what am I to you? I breathed deeply. A lesson, one I'll never forget. Her knees buckled, and I heard her collapse behind me. I didn't turn back. Outside, the city lights flickered. The air was sharp, alive. For the first time in years, I felt free. I whispered to myself, I was her prop once. Now I am my own man. And I walked into the night, scarred but unchained.